Oh boy, we're in for a doozy today. A truly once uh in a lifetime opportunity, technically so to speak. There's really only one chance to win. Let's get it going. What am I talking about? We are entering into the Golden 3 on Underdog Fantasy. It is a single entry tournament, winner take all. There's only 2,760 spots, but you can only draft one team. And I mean it, it's winner take all. There's 25K in prizes, and that all is reserved for first place. So even if you make the playoffs, even if you advance to round two, even if you make the finals, if you finish second or worse, you get nothing. So odds are, if you hop into this tournament, you are lighting your money on fire. You are not going to see it back. So just keep that in mind. It needs proper context. If you are a beginner, if you've never been on Underdog before, this is probably not the best tournament to hop into. I would recommend either the Hound Dog for tournaments. You can make the playoffs and get your money back, or just a 12-person league. You have a 1 in 3 chance to at least get your money back, if not turn $3 into $20. It goes up from there depending on the buy-in. So just keep that in mind. But we need to finish top 2 out of 12, then first out of 4, then first out of 5, and then in the 23 seat final, we need first place. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So that is what we're doing. Let's hop in. If you want to join me on Underdog, you can use my code and get your first deposit 50% matched up to $250. The link is in the description. But if you would like to join me, you are on a 6 to 10-second delay. So if you enter right now, if you hit the button right now, I will hop in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let us begin. So there are still 7 spots. Gonna be a fun one here. And this draft should fill decently quickly. I don't think it'll take too long, but we might be here for a minute or two waiting for this lobby to fill. So again, if you would like to join me, grab some coconut water. Get your cat on the desk, as I have mine just out of frame, and we will be starting very, very soon. But I'm just going to get my stuff in order, make sure I have all the right settings for the live stream. And it looks like a couple of people left. We're down to 8 spots. This may take a little bit longer than I would like it to. But if we're waiting like 4+ minutes, maybe I'll hop into a different one. Maybe I'll just do a Hound Dog. But I think it's worth waiting for. I want to do this golden draft on the live stream. So let's hope for the best. But maybe in the meantime, we do another Immaculate Grid. I think that's a pretty fun way to kill the time. And we have some options here. We're looking at Titans. 5,000 plus yards receiving, as well as someone who also played for the Falcons and the Cardinals. I'm definitely going with Julio. We could do that for either spot, but we'll put Julio, even though it's 50%. That's probably an obvious pick. I just want it out of the way. 5,000 plus yards receiving. I will go. Does A.J. Brown qualify? I feel like A.J. Brown's going to be really, really close to that number. He probably qualifies, but I'm just going to go with Hopkins. Just played a little safer. Only 10%, so definitely on the low end of the spectrum. We want low percentage. We don't want to have the most obvious pick that everybody else is taking. So, for instance, Julio Jones is probably a bad selection. Very common. DeAndre Hopkins, though, on the lower end of the spectrum at only 10%. But Steelers, 5,000 plus yards receiving. Let's go with someone a little bit older. Let's go like Hines Ward. 29%. Maybe some people are thinking along my lines as well. But I wish I could go Van Jefferson, but he has not played for the Falcons yet, although he is on the Falcons at the moment. Um, Maybe I'll hold off on that one. Bengals 5,000 plus yards receiving. I'll go TJ Houshmandzadeh. 16%. Definitely going to be lower than like AJ Green. But Bengals and Falcons. Who qualifies there? Running back is not obvious to me. Steelers, Falcons. There's got to be some defensive players I'm just not thinking of, but my mind has been like so geared towards like current NFL players lately with like all the rankings and stats I've been doing. Thinking of defensive guys just isn't my forte at the moment, but Cardinals, Bengals, I'm going to go Carson Palmer. Cardinals, Steelers, I'm going to go with Patrick Peterson. Cardinals, Titans, Falcons, Steelers, Falcons, Bengals. That's who we still need in this grid. Cardinals, Titans. Why do I feel like CJ2K played for the Cardinals? I am probably wrong about this, but for some reason I'm thinking Chris Johnson. Why do I feel like Chris Johnson played for the Cardinals? I'm probably wrong, but I just want to take a shot at it. Oh, he did. He did. Let's go. Falcons, Steelers. Hard to think of it. How many spots do we have left? 3 more spots in this golden draft. So I will always put the timestamps once this video is posted. Now down to 2 spots. Going to be filled very shortly. I'm going to stick around and wait for the golden. 1 spot. Yeah, going to be underway very soon. But can we think of any Falcons and Steelers? I don't think it counts, but like my mind is just going to like Van Jefferson and Cordero Patterson. No, yeah, it's not going to count because it's only through 2023. Damn it. Jesse Bates. How do you spell Jesse Bates? That's how you spell it. There we go. Okay, we need a Falcon and a Steeler. Falcon and a Steeler. I might come back to this at the end of the video. Antonio Brown played for the Buccaneers. Wrong NFC South team. It looks like our lobby has been filled, so I'll get back to it. Oh, yeah, we have pick 2, baby. We get a good pick in this draft. Love it. Love it. Very happy with pick 2. Okay. Let's focus. Let's put the grid aside. If anyone can think of a Falcon/Steeler, let me know in the chat. We will hopefully fill up this grid immaculately. Can't think of it. Not off the top of my head. There's no like obvious quarterbacks. No obvious running backs. Whatever. Let's focus on this draft. CeeDee Lamb goes. Okay. We are going to go all in on Christian McCaffrey then. That's who we're taking. At pick 2, I will go with Christian McCaffrey. I would have loved to have CeeDee Lamb, but here we are with CMC. We can still get some good receivers. We're just kind of forced to move off of the running back position for a considerable amount of time. I think that's kind of the only way it works, unless you're getting like Pacheco around 5 and you feel really confident in your receiver values, then I do not love grabbing a running back early in this draft once we go Christian McCaffrey at the second overall pick. But at pick 23, we should still get a pretty decent wide receiver, and we clearly get the running back 1 for fantasy purposes. As long as he stays healthy, that will not be a bad selection. So let's do it. I don't take Christian McCaffrey that often, and hard to regret that pick. But that's the way I think you have to approach the draft. When you do get Christian McCaffrey, you just have to pass on running backs for most likely the next 5-6 rounds. Like I'm probably going to wait until round 8 to grab my RB2. Most likely the strategy I will implement. But wow, we see AJ Brown go at pick 4. That is interesting. Tyreek Hill goes 3, AJ Brown 4. That's the thing about this format. When you only have one opportunity to get it right, some people are going to be reaching, just grabbing their guys because they do not have another chance to get the exposure for that player. So AJ Brown at 4, Jamar Chase at 5, Justin Jefferson at 6, Amon-Ra at 7. I'm sure Team 7 is happy with that. Team 8 goes Bijan. Team 9 goes Breece Hall. Team 10 takes Jonathan Taylor and then doubles up on running back with Saquon Barkley in round 2, pick 15. Very unique approach. Not sure I would have done that, but I understand. Puka Nacua at pick 11. Pick 12, Jahmyr Gibbs, followed by Marvin Harrison. Team 11 with a Puka Garrett Wilson combo. That's pretty nice. And Team 9 gets Brandon Ayuk to pair with Breece Hall. So a couple very unique approaches so far. Team 4, Team 10 going off the board. And we'll see how it works out for them. But otherwise, pick 1, CeeDee Lamb over Christian McCaffrey is the only odd selection in this draft. But fight me. Let's go, my friend. Happy to see you in the chat. And it's going to be fun. Excited for you to join the subscriber league, and got your email. Your spot is locked up. And if anybody else wants to join the subscriber league, send me an email at niceandblunt@gmail.com. The info is in the description down below. All you got to do is scroll down, subject line league, and that way I'll have your contact info. I'll be able to reach out to you and give you all of the details for the league. Hope to see you in my inbox and in the subscriber league this season. Going to have a very fun year in that subscriber league. But we're looking at wide receiver here, and I do think Mike Evans probably has the safest floor, highest ADP. That's probably who I'm going to take. I do like me some Devontae Smith, DK Metcalf, but I think the safest approach is probably Mike Evans. I do have him ranked highest at the position. So we're hoping for another 1,000+ yard season. That feels kind of locked and guaranteed. And if he has the same connection in the red zone as last year with Baker Mayfield, he will see 10+ touchdowns. That's what needs to happen for this ADP to pay off. But if it does, then he is going too low. He is probably more valuable than like Chris Olave if he puts up the same numbers as last year. I think he is a top 15 receiver if we see him repeat the stats from 2023. So let's hope that happens. And we will grab one of these two options. We see Devontae Smith go off at 25, so I will be taking DK Metcalf. I think Metcalf is a safer option than Malik Nabers. I am not a believer in the Giants offense. Ryan Grubb, definitely going to use DK Metcalf like a great weapon that he is. And the only other player I'm like tempted to go with is Cooper Kupp, but Kupp is going to be the wide receiver too. I'm going to go DK Metcalf. That's my selection at pick 26. So we have Christian McCaffrey, Mike Evans, DK Metcalf. First 3 rounds, not bad. But Malik Neighbors then goes off at pick 27. Team 4 is not going to double up on those Eagles receivers, does not get Devontae Smith. They go Nico Collins. I do not blame them. I have Nico Collins ranked higher than 21 overall. I'll tell you that for sure. And tomorrow, I am going to be posting my top 10 wide receivers on YouTube. Those rankings are currently being edited. I am almost done. I've got about 2 more players to edit over on Final Cut, and I'll be done with that later tonight. It will be posted tomorrow in the morning. So look out for that. If you have not done so already, please hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so that you know every time we go live, every time we post new content, and all those updates will be sent to your phone. You will get a notification if you ring the bell down below. But as well as subscribing, hit the like button for me as well. Give this stream some love. Help me out in the algorithm. And hopefully just from views alone, probably unlikely. I usually don't get like more than like 100 views on these streams. Who knows? Maybe I can get the $10 buy-in back before this before this tournament kicks off. But yeah, if you're tuning in late, the rules of this tournament are $10 buy-in, winner takes all. If we finish second, even if we advance to the final week 17 showdown and we finish anything but first, we do not get our $10 back. So we are risking it, but no risk it, no biscuit. And so far, with Christian McCaffrey, we definitely have a team to compete. Top 2 pick is an advantage in this tournament. After our DK Metcalf selection, we see Malik Neighbors, Cooper Kupp, T. Higgins. Bit of a reach on T. Higgins, but the team at 5 wants their Bengals double stack. Team 6 has DJ Moore, followed by Michael Pittman, Tank Dell. Team 9 grabs a second running back with Derrick Henry. Team 10, their first wide receiver is Stephon Diggs. They also have Amari Cooper in the 4th round. Team 11, really good value on Kyren Williams. Like that a lot. Boy, Team 11 is looking pretty juicy. They also have Zay Flowers. They are set up for a Rams stack with Puka and Kyren. And I think I like Team 11 the most so far, but anything can change. We'll see what happens. But Team 12 goes George Pickens, Josh Allen, and I understand that logic. But Team 8 grabs Jalen Hurts, so Team 4 will not get their stack. Not going to see Jalen Hurts fall. And Team 9 grabs Travis Kelce. Their only receiver is Brandon Ayuk through the first 4 rounds. Not ideal. They're going to need to hammer that position moving forward. Sam Laporta falls to 43. That is a big value. Wow. Surprised that Team 7 did not go Laporta when they have St. Brown. They go Travis Etienne. But I'm probably going to go with like elite QB, elite tight end here. If it's available, I might try to set myself up with the Lamar Jackson, Mark Andrews combo. Mark Andrews is off the board, so that's probably not going to happen. But you don't need a stacked Lamar Jackson to justify it. So Pacheco goes off. I think that's what I'm going to do. Lamar Jackson or Patrick Mahomes, I will just stick with Lamar Jackson. I will keep it safe. Maybe this is not as safe. I'm just going to go Lamar Jackson, stick with ADP. But higher rushing upside for sure, and it is what it is. But now we're looking at tight end, and we're looking at Trey McBride, Dalton Kincaid. I think I see more upside for Kincaid. With all of the vacated targets in Buffalo, I'm going to go with Dalton Kincaid. Just so much volume is headed his way. I think there's going to be 10 plus targets. That's what we saw for Trey McBride at the end of last season, especially once Zach Ertz was out of the lineup. But when he was really phenomenal, even with Kyler Murray, there was nobody else in that offense stealing any volume from him. So Marquise Brown had a heel injury. He barely played. And I just don't see the same amount of volume for Trey McBride this year with Marvin Harrison. I am going with Kincaid. I think when push comes to shove, I would rather go with Dalton Kincaid than Trey McBride. The number one target in Buffalo, McBride is the number two target. In Arizona, I am a believer in Marvin Harrison. So, little sneak peek for you. My rankings at tight end apparently have Kincaid over McBride. That's what my gut told me to do. But we've got our elite tight end, we've got our elite quarterback, we have Christian McCaffrey, and we have two wide receivers. I will 100% be doubling up at wide receiver. At the 6-7 turn, pick 71-74 is definitely a double tap at wide receiver. I am not going to compete in this league, in this tournament, if I do not move back to the wide receiver position with our next two picks. But now I have a lot of flexibility, with the exception of the next two rounds. I can grab running back, wide receiver, wherever I can get them, whatever value is available to me. After round 8, round 6, I'm definitely pigeonholed into wide receiver. Same with round 7. Otherwise, I might as well just call it quits. If I don't get 4 receivers through the first 7 rounds, I am donezo with Mike Evans as our wide receiver 1. But following our Dalton Kincaid pick, we see Trey McBride, Terry McLaurin, Josh Jacobs, Calvin Ridley, Anthony Richardson, Chris Godwin, Keenan Allen, C.J. Stroud, Jaden Reed, Xavier Worthy. Fantasy Dog likes our team so far at pick 2. Also number 2 like. I appreciate you, my friend. And yeah, we're competitive. That's for sure. It's just a question of, will our receiver room figure itself out? I think I'm going to be trying to stack up one of Evans and Metcalf later on in the draft. I think I'm going to be moving off of QB for a long time. But we have elite options at running back, QB, and tight end. And it's just about getting good depth at wide receiver the rest of the way. But glad you like it. Who are we looking at? I keep talking myself into Diontae Johnson more and more over the last few weeks. Just because Adam Thielen was so effing good last year to start the season. Like, can I just remind you of what Adam Thielen did in Carolina? There's no way he repeats as the wide receiver 1 this season. That would be shocking. Let's make sure I don't miss my pick. But first, what would it be? 7 games. Let's remove week 1. Week 1, let's say, doesn't count against Atlanta. 6 of the first 7 games, 68 targets. That's 11 per game, 55 catches, 9 per game, 95 yards per game, 4 touchdowns. Those are insane numbers. But Diontae Johnson was taken. Fuck. Okay. I'm going to be growing with like Ladd McConkey. I do like Bryant Thomas. I think I'm going to ignore Rashee Rice. If I took Mahomes, I'll grab Rashee Rice, but I'm going to let Team 1 grab the stack. I'm going to take Ladd McConkey. Super safe in the Chargers offense. Clear wide receiver 1. Could see 120 plus targets. And we'll just grab one of Brian Thomas, Christian Watson coming back around. Gotta hope that Watson stays healthy if that's indeed our next pick. And it is. I definitely prefer Watson over... Actually, maybe I go JSN. Set ourselves up for the Geno Smith stack. We have DK Metcalf. We can also grab Tyler Lockett at the next turn. That's what I'm going to do. I think the stack is super critical in this tournament because you have to finish first overall, and the only way to maximize the upside, the only way to capitalize on those minute differences in points is having the stack. So that is the logic that this team is going with. We are telling ourselves, please tell me that's not the same buy. Okay, there's a different buy for Seattle than Baltimore, thankfully. We're in good shape. But the story that this team is telling is that in the final 3 weeks of the season, during the playoff schedule, the Seahawks are going off, and that is the stack you need in order to win. So we have DK Metcalf, we have JSN. I'm probably going to target Tyler Lockett just to cover my bases. And thankfully, that's the only like 3 receivers that you can point to in this offense. There's no way anybody else is a factor. So that's what I'm going to be trying to do. And to Fantasy Dog's point, Seattle has a good playoff schedule. Let's verify that because I can't tell you I know exactly what it is off the rip. But in weeks 15, they are at home versus Green Bay. Week 16, they are home versus Minnesota. Those are some good matchups. I mean, the Packers have a good secondary at times, but maybe, that's why you want JSN, because DK might get shut down by Jair Alexander. Week 17, they are at Chicago, which is a good defense, sometimes some bad weather, but, can definitely turn into a shootout against Caleb Williams late in the season. That is probably going to have some playoff implications. It's also a Thursday night game. Maybe the defenses are lacking in terms of rest, and that is a big factor. So let's hope that works out. I think I would prefer if Arizona was the Week 17 matchup instead of Week 14, but pretty good matchups overall. The Vikings matchup definitely going to pay off for the upside there. So, pretty good playoff schedule. Noah Fant late, possibly. I'll consider it, but kind of like QB and tight end, I'm going to be avoiding that position for a long time. I think the next 6-7 rounds are going to be just running back, wide receiver. We'll definitely take Geno Smith at this 14-15 turn. I might take him pick 167 just to lock him up. But yeah, that might be the target. That might be the plan at that turn there. Just guarantee we get our Seattle stacks. But following JSN, we see Christian Watson, another player we were considering, but we opt for the stack. Then we see Evan Ingram. Team 4 is doubling up on tight end early. We'll see how that works out for him. They have 5 receivers as well. Team 7 takes Joe Burrow at 77. They do not fuck around. They have Jamar Chase. They have T. Higgins. They do not risk it that he comes back around at pick 92. Maybe it's the wrong call, but definitely the safer approach. Not going to be upset when you lock up the stack. They also went with Keon Coleman. Oh, no. Next team goes Keon Coleman. I think Keon Coleman is a bust candidate, in all honesty with you. I don't think he's going to pay off. I mean, the rookies always had that late season appeal, but I do not love Keon Coleman this season. Not too much. Jake Ferguson goes pick 79. Dave Montgomery pick 80. Jameson Williams 81. Aaron Jones 82. Kyler Murray 83. Curtis Samuel, bit of a reach on Curtis Samuel, but that team does have Josh Allen. I understand it. I think Curtis Samuel is more valuable than Keon, but the stack I think you really want the most would be Josh Allen, Dalton Kincaid for the Bills. Then we see Ramondre, James Conner, Tyler Lockett, Jaden Daniels, pick 88. Wow, big reach on Jaden Daniels. Usually you can get him at 105. So QB is being coveted. People are not messing around, and they're taking an unstacked Jaden Daniels. They do not give a shit to reach on him. But Kamara falls to pick 89 in this draft. Some good value, but a lot of teams passed on Kamara. Even the team that takes him preferred Dave Montgomery over Kamara. I don't agree with that. But they also have Bijan. Wow, Team 8 going a little too heavy on running back for my liking. Personally, I would not go with 4 running backs through the first 8 rounds, as well as a quarterback. They got Drake London, Tank Dell, Chris Godwin. Not my favorite approach, but it looks like Tyler Lockett's off the board. Yeah, Lockett goes pick 87. So we're just going to need to hope and pray that Lockett is not part of the stack that we need, and it is what it is. But we are looking at Zamir White, Jalen Warren, DeAndre Swift, Zach Moss. I have Zach Moss ranked the highest, so that is where I will go if he is available. Zamir White gets taken. I will go Zach Moss. I'll probably target Raheem Mostert coming back around. That's what I would prefer. But I have Zach Moss ranked the highest. I'm going to take him. I think we're going to see 10-plus touchdowns for Zach Moss. I think he is the RB1 in Cincinnati, and he averaged 16 fantasy points per game when he was the starter last year for the Colts. Team 1 has Devon Achane, though. They probably go with Mostert. I probably should have taken Mostert and gambled that Moss fell to me coming back around. But, okay, there we go. He goes Dak Prescott. It works out. I get Mostert, who has top 10 upside once again. Should I go with receiver? It's probably wise, but nah, I will go Mostert. I will go with the 2 running backs who scored 21 touchdowns last season on my roster. Both CMC Mostert were league winners with 21 touchdowns apiece. So that is our roster. We have 1 QB. It's Lamar Jackson, unstacked. We have 3 running backs, Christian McCaffrey, Zach Moss, Raheem Mostert. And I think with this build, I'm going to be comfortable calling it quits at 5 total. I don't think I'm going to need to take more than 5. And that's going to allow me, with just 2 tight ends, 2 quarterbacks, to grab 9 receivers over the course of this draft. So running back is definitely a strong point of this team. We have a good tight end in Dalton Kincaid, and at least decent options at the top at receiver. We have Mike Evans, DK Metcalf, Ladd McConkey, Jackson Smith, and Jigba. But I will need to draft another 5 to feel somewhat safe exiting this draft. I definitely need 9 receivers now that I only have 4 through the first 9 rounds. But I just didn't feel like there were like great values there. Like Daubs is kind of interesting, but super up and down. 4 receivers there in Green Bay to eat up volume from each other. We have Ladd McConkey, so we're kind of just betting against Josh Palmer. I do not want to stack Herbert on this roster. I'm trying to stack Geno Smith. Khalil Shakir, I think, is overvalued. Shaheed has big spike week potential, but is not a weekly staple in our lineup. We're really hoping that a guy like Brandon Cooks falls to us at the next pick. I also like Dontavian Wicks where he's going. I do not like Jerry Jeudy. I don't think I've drafted Jerry Jeudy a single time this entire offseason. But I could also talk myself into Jalen Polk with our next pick. That would be a big reach, though. We're going at 119, 122. I probably won't reach on Jalen Polk that high with an ADP of 138. But I am hopeful I get good wide receiver values at the next turn. But it looks like my cat is making an appearance here on the screen. She says hi. But if Dallas Goedert were to fall to me, I would definitely take Goedert. I think that would make me really comfortable calling it done at tight end. I do see Goedert far more valuable than Fant. And that would also mean I don't have to like force a reach on Fant to ensure my stack. But there's 8 picks left between now and our selection. And Schultz goes. The team with Jalen Hurts does not have him stacked, and they're on the clock right now. If Goddard doesn't go right now, there's a chance we get Goddard at pick 119. But the team right before us with Jordan Love has Christian Watson. They're probably going to be targeting Dontavian Wicks, and the team with Jalen Hurts does draft Dallas Goedert. So we are really hoping for Brandon Cooks. And I will be sniping Team 1 with Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb if that happens. But wouldn't be shocked at all if Cooks gets taken. Maybe I gambled a little bit too much grabbing double running back at the previous 8-9 turn. Let's see what happens. Okay, I think I'm going to get one of my receivers. Unless Cooks goes off right now and Wicks goes off right after him, I think I'll get one of my top 2 selections at the position. Really hoping for Cooks. I think it'll work out. Wicks goes just as I anticipated. We do get Brandon Cooks. Sorry, Team 1. You do not get to double stack Dak Prescott. But I think Brandon Cooks is very valuable here in round 10. He was previously going around 11. But here, I think we're still in good shape. But I really don't like receiver. I do not like receiver here. Not excited about A.D. Mitchell. I think he's overvalued. Jerry Jeudy, as I mentioned, not drafting at all any of him. Then I'm going to gamble that we get good receivers coming back around, and I'm just going to grab the running back I value and covet the most, highest ranked in my rankings. I'm going with Jerome Ford. If Nick Chubb does not play at all next season, Jerome Ford will smash this ADP, and based on where I've ranked him top 30, he is already a very, very safe pick going off the board as running back 39 overall. We get him at pick 122. And now we only need one more running back. Our running back room is very, very good. CMC, Zach Moss, Raheem Mostert, and Jerome Ford feel really comfortable with that quad of running backs. All right, so here's the team. CMC, Mike Evans, DK Metcalf, Lamar Jackson, Dalton Kincaid, Ladd McConkey, Jackson Smith-Njigba, Zach Moss, Raheem Mostert, Brandon Cooks, and Jerome Ford. Where is Geno's ADP? That's who we need. ADP 169. I don't think I'm going to take him at the next turn. I think I'm just going to pray that we get him at 167. I think unless there's like a ton of quarterbacks that go off the board here, I am going to gamble on Geno Smith in round 14. Fantasy Dog's asking, am I going with 2-4-10-2? I think I'm going to go with 2-5-9-2, my friend. I think I'm going to grab 5 running backs. If I had taken a better RB2 than Zach Moss, then maybe I'd go super fragile, but I'd feel more comfortable with 5. I feel like the 10th wide receiver is usually overkill. 10 feels a little bit indulgent and unnecessary. Unless you really punt the position, I'd rather not go with 10. And if you do punt the position, I think you're dead in the water. I think you're not going to compete if, let's say, like your first wide receiver is in like round 5 or like round 6 and you grab 10, I don't think that's going to work. So uh, maybe I do take Wright. That is definitely a possibility. The team at 1 does have Devon Achane, so they're probably targeting him as well. We'll see. But I need receiver at this next turn. It will fall off a big cliff after our next 2 picks. It's already slim as fuck, so hopefully I don't need to take a running back. Hopefully there's a lot of running backs that come off the board in these next 8 selections. I'm really hoping there's a sea of green in the next 8 picks. We see Nick Chubb at 135. That's already helping. Then Zeke. Here we go. We need some good mojo, some good luck here. A lot of green, baby. Show me a lot of green. Mooney goes. Definitely someone I would consider. Herbert goes. That's fine for us. We do have McConkey, but we're not trying to stack with Herbert. Appreciate you, Fantasy Dog. Appreciate you a lot. More running backs. If I get Zach Charbonnet, I think that's who I would take because it does line up with our Seattle stack. Pretty nicely. Then I would be 100% calling it done. Charbonnet goes. So that's not who we're taking. Kind of a rough spot here. I'm going to go Jermaine Burton. I think Jermaine Burton has more of a role than Ricky Pearsall this season, and you need a trade with Brandon Ayuk or Debo for Ricky Pearsall to really pay off. Whereas I think Burton has a clear role, and maybe this team passes on him. They do have CMC. They don't have Purdy. I think they'll leave him for me, but even if they don't, I'm still not going to sweat it. They go Cole Kmet. So I need receivers. They look ugly as fuck moving forward. And we know we're taking 9. I could play it safe. I could reach on Geno Smith, but I'm going to gamble. I am going to take Ricky Pearsall. If Debo were to go down, if Ayuk were to go down, if Kittle were to go down, or if one of them were to be traded, Pearsall would be super valuable, would definitely outperform this ADP. And if any of those scenarios are going to happen, he's going to have the most value at the end of the season. Definitely helps us out in terms of like week 17 playoff upside in this tournament. So that is our team so far. We have Lamar Jackson unstacked. Maybe I go with like an Isaiah Likely later on if we don't get Noah Fant, but we'll see about that. I have Dalton Kincaid at tight end, and at running back I have Christian McCaffrey, Zach Moss, Raheem Mostert, Jerome Ford. At wide receiver we have Mike Evans, DK Metcalf, Ladd McConkey, Jackson Smith-Njigba, Brandon Cooks, Jermaine Burton, and Ricky Pearsall. A little bit risky with 3 rookies, but I think at least McConkey is going to smash. I think he's a top 30 wide receiver this season and will definitely be better in the latter half of the year. Cooks, definitely a value. Burton, solid option. Pearsall, we're hoping for the best, but has high upside. That DK Metcalf JSN stack, we're hoping to complete with Geno Smith. And if we miss out on that, we can stack up Mike Evans with Baker Mayfield. Let's hope for the best. But Tua can get no respect, 12th round. Honestly, I think it's justified. I think the only reason you're drafting Tua higher than Jared Goff, Trevor Lawrence, Justin Herbert is if you have the stack and you're kind of forcing it. But I've seen Tua go past pick 140, sometimes in round 13. And his playoff schedule is terrible. Week 17, he gets the Browns in Cleveland. And he also was pretty shitty last year when Jalen Waddle got hurt. In the second half of the season, he was barely averaging like 1 touchdown per game. They really leaned on the run at the end of last season. So Tua's great at the start of the season, kind of falls off a cliff once you hit November. And in December, he was terrible last year. So I don't draft a lot of Tua, in all honesty. Not my favorite pick. Yes, his playoff schedule is terrible. But you never know. Maybe Mostert goes down. Maybe they have to rely on A-Chain as a big pass catcher. Maybe with Waddle fully healthy, we see 40-plus touchdowns for Tua in a contract season. But more than likely, he looks similar to what we've seen the last few years from him, where he's starting off red hot in September, still really good October, November cools off, and then looks really average at best in December. When the weather gets cold, Tua does not look good. But once again, if you have not done so already, please hit that subscribe button for me. Please like the stream as well if you have not done so already. And ring the notification bell, and you'll get notified tomorrow when I post my top 10 wide receiver rankings in the morning. I'm almost done editing that video. I'll finish that up tonight and post it tomorrow on Thursday, July 11th. But I could definitely opt for Rashad Bateman here. I am not going to gamble, however. I will be going Geno Smith at 167. Actually, maybe I don't. Team 1 already has 2 quarterbacks. We are already gambling. Why not do it? Once again, we do have Baker Mayfield as a safety net if it doesn't work out. But we're not going to get Noah Fant. He goes pick 163. And honestly, I didn't really want to take him at this turn. So happy to see him go. Bateman goes. Bit of a bummer there with Bateman. We will not be getting Jalen Wright. We could go Kimani Vidal if he does not get sniped. Watch Geno get sniped. Watch Geno come off the board here. He does not. Okay. I kind of want to gamble and go with Malachi Corley because I kind of like really hate receiver moving forward. And I really do not think Team 1 is going to take a quarterback. I'm going to do it. I'm going to go Malachi Corley. Another rookie, but definitely one that can pop. If I get sniped here on Geno, I will look like a dumbass. But Kimani goes. That's fine. I think he's going to take a receiver here. He takes Mitchell. We get our guy. We grab Geno Smith, and our stack is complete. So at QB, we have Lamar Jackson unstacked. I will be targeting Isaiah Likely, although he does need to fall to me. in the next round. ADP 181. We have pick 191. So likely we'll need to fall 10 picks for that to work out. We'll see what happens. But we're done at QB. We have Geno Smith stacked up with DK Metcalf and Jackson Smith-Njigba, hoping for the best. I think you need a stack in this format. If you don't have a stack, I think you're kind of at a disadvantage because this tournament only pays out if you finished number 1 overall. So the story we're telling ourselves is that Geno Smith looks phenomenal at the end of the year, and DK Metcalf and Jackson Smith-Njigba are top 10 receivers at their position in Week 17. That's the stack you need to win the tournament. But at running back, we are in good shape. We have Christian McCaffrey, Zach Moss, Raheem Mostert, Jerome Ford. We already see Isaiah Likely go off the board, so that is not going to work out. 4 running backs so far, really good ones. All top 30 options in my rankings, and we have the number 1 running back overall. Definitely an advantage there. At wide receiver, we have Mike Evans, DK Metcalf, Ladd McConkey, JSN, Brandon Cooks, Jermaine Burton, Ricky Pearsall, Malachi Corley. Little dependent on these rookies popping, but recent history has shown rookies are ready to compete sometimes week 1, and the guys we have are definitely talented. Jermaine Burton was possibly a round 1 talent, if not for some personality question marks. Malachi Corley, I think, fell a little bit. I think he was a steal in round 3, went to the Jets, and Rodgers really likes him. Ladd McConkey with the 2nd pick in the 2nd round, basically a first rounder in many ways. In terms of opportunity, he's going to have a ton of targets next season in the Chargers offense with no Keenan Allen, no Mike Williams. And then Ricky Pearsall was literally a first-round pick by the San Francisco 49ers. So let's hope for the best. We need that to work out. It was not likely. Not at all. He doesn't even go past ADP. He gets taken 175 with an ADP of 181. Keaton Mitchell late. I cannot. I don't think I can justify that. I'm not a big Keaton Mitchell guy, in all honesty. I don't think he's a great pick. But we have a lot of options at running back. I'll probably wait until the final round to grab running back. But I think I've mentioned him many times on the channel. If Tyler Conklin is available, I would love to grab Tyler Conklin. I think he's a very safe option with tremendous upside. And while he does have the same bye week 12 as Dalton Kincaid, I don't care as much. I'm willing to gamble on that if we do get him at a value. But if not, I'd be comfortable with Cade Otton. We also have Mike Evans, so another investment in Tampa Bay's offense. But I'm definitely grabbing tight end wide receiver here, and then I'll just grab someone at running back in the 18th round, wherever it feels right. But I expect to go Conklin. This team before me already has 2 tight ends, and one of them I think is Trey McBride. So they're not gonna. Yeah, they have McBride and Brock Bowers. They're not grabbing tight end. Team 1 has Freiermuth, Cole Kmet. I think they could be in the market for a 3rd tight end. I am not going to gamble. I am going to grab Conklin before he gets sniped. We played it risky with Geno Smith, but I'm not going to risk it with Conklin. At a good value here, 14 picks past ADP, I am happy to take the best tight end available on the board. Another Jets investment as well. If Garrett Wilson goes down, then Corley and Conklin will step up. And I think Mike Williams could have a bad year to the point where Corley and Conklin also see a lot of targets. But I do like Tyler Boyd in this range. Boyd had 98 targets last year, gets the same offensive coordinator. If he is available, I will probably grab Tyler Boyd, one of the safer picks at this point in the draft. And I 100% need 9 of them with all the rookies we have, with the fact that Evans is our wide receiver 1, Boyd is available, Slayton goes, and there's no other stack potential. I'm not going to go at like any Baltimore Ravens. I'm not going to go like Nelson Aguilar. I'm not going to take Jake Bobo. I'm going to grab Tyler Boyd. Maybe there's an injury to DeAndre Hopkins or Calvin Ridley. Maybe Chigo Okonkwo is an afterthought in this offense. Maybe some people don't adjust too well to the Callahan system. And maybe Boyd thrives given his familiarity with this offense. Maybe he really clicks with Will Levis. We know it's a pass-first offense this season. There's definitely upside with Boyd and a decent floor. I think he could see 75 plus targets potentially. So he's our 9th receiver. We're done at that position. And we get running back in the final round. I have spoken highly of Dylan Laube as of late, and Laube is the guy I have been targeting in round 18 a lot recently. I've been underweight on Laube. Wasn't taking him for a long time. As I look deeper into Zamir White and the Raiders offense, I like Laube a lot. We do have to wait another 17 picks here. Maybe not that much. At least 12 plus picks, like 15 or so. Maybe he goes off, but pretty safe bet he's available there at the end of round 18. If not, we could look elsewhere. I think Estime is interesting. Shipley is interesting. I've spoken about Garendo, but I have a ton of Garendo already. I've been trying to move off of him. You never know about Mixon's health at age 28. Maybe Dameon Pierce is a factor. But I think we can address that when it does come back around. So we'll see what happens. But Laube is definitely the guy we're targeting. The cat is getting some exposure. Is she still in frame? Just barely. Yeah, she's right here. There she is. Meow. Meow. It's almost 6 p.m. That's usually when I feed her. She is about to get hungry and demanding for her feeding time. But I hope wherever you are staying cool. This heat wave has been a little brutal for me here in Southern California. My room does not have like the best insulation, and sometimes this baby cooks. Damn. Team 12 goes with Dylan Laube at pick 205. We will not be getting Laube. Starting to become one of my guys in round 18. It's okay. She's very upset that we do not get Laube. Very upset about it. Boy, oh no, they have Jaylen Warren. I was going to say team 1 is really brittle at running back if Corum is their RB2, but they have Jaylen Warren, they have Devon Achane. They also have Rico Dowdle, Kimani Vidal, Elijah Mitchell. What is my cat's name? Her name is Leia, and yes, she is a talker. Very vocal cat. Ever since I got her. Always talking. When she has an opinion, she lets you know. Are there any Ravens that I could consider? You mentioned Keaton Mitchell in the chat. There's potential there, but coming off of an injury, I don't feel great about it. Maybe Justice Hill. No, I do not expect to stack any Ravens with Lamar. He's a quarterback that you can draft early that is justified to go unstacked. Ideally, you get Mark Andrews, if not Zay Flowers. But even if you miss out on him, it's not the end of the world. Okay, here we are looking at Estime, Will Shipley, or Garendo. I don't think I'm going to take Garendo. I'm just going to bet that Christian McCaffrey stays healthy. Estime or Will Shipley. This is not a player I think we need like crazy. I'm going to just gamble that Saquon misses some time. I'm going to go with Will Shipley. Will Shipley, our running back 5. So this is the team. Team 1 is about to take their pick, so let's pull it up right here. We only get one chance, and this is it. At quarterback, we have Lamar Jackson and Geno Smith. Geno is stacked up with DK Metcalf and Jackson Smith-Njigba, hoping that is the stack we need. At running back, we have Christian McCaffrey, Zach Moss, Raheem Mostert, Jerome Ford, and Will Shipley. Very competitive running back room, in my opinion. And we have the 2 highest scores in terms of touchdowns last year with CMC and Mostert. But Moss, I think, is the clear RB1 in the Bengals offense, and Jerome Ford, I think, is the clear RB1 in the Browns offense. Shipley needs some work at the end of the year, somewhere in that time frame. If Saquon were to go down, he would have some high upside. But receiver is the risk on this roster. When we go CMC round 1, we need a lot of them. And we have Mike Evans, DK Metcalf, Ladd McConkey, Jackson Smith-Njigba, Brandon Cooks, Jermaine Burton, Ricky Pearsall, Malachi Corley, and Tyler Boyd. So a few veterans, but a lot of rookies as well. We have 4 rookies, really hoping that they work out for us. And I think the upside is phenomenal for them at the end of the year, but the floor is not that high. At tight end, though, we have Dalton Kincaid, who we grabbed in round 5, and Tyler Conklin. They do both have a Week 12 bye. I will get a 0 in that spot, but I'm willing to risk it, hoping that I just outperform my pod enough, with the exception of that 0 in Week 12 at tight end, and we advance to the playoffs, and from there, it doesn't fucking matter. So that's our team. I think if you are going to pair up a bye week at any position to where you're forced to take a 0, I think it can only work at tight end. I think at QB, it is not a wise decision, but at tight end, you can try and plan around it, grab somebody else, get a worse value at the position, somebody that does not finish as high as Conklin will, and still get a 0 in Week 12. Tight end is super volatile. They might get injured. They might just suck that week, and that's why I think at tight end, it's not that big of a deal getting a 0 when both players are on bye. I think you can come back from. It's really not going to ruin you. You might miss out on like 3-4 points at the end of the day. So that's our team, and let's hope for the best. We only have one shot, and this is what we did with it. So if you enjoyed, do me a favor, hit that like button down below, subscribe to the channel as well, and I will be posting my top 10 wide receiver rankings tomorrow. Look out for that. So that's going to be it for this video. My name is Adam Riancho, and thank you very much for watching. Nice and blunt. I'll see you Friday with another live stream. Take care.